How would you like a 15% discount to my daily email, the stack of stuff, the show notes, discounts to the conference, all of that? All you need to do is text the word show to 33777. You'll get the annual subscription with a 15% discount to my daily email. You'll get the stack of stuff, the links to the show notes, discounts to the conference, and so much more. All you have to do is text the word show, SHOW, to 33777. Text show to 33777.
Welcome to the Eric Erickson Show podcast, Hour 2.
Hello, America. It's Eric Erickson here. I hope that you are doing well. The phone number is 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, we need to talk about TikTok. Don't want to talk about TikTok, but we need to talk about TikTok. You should know Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire is now publicly urging the President of the United States to fire Pam Bondi for embracing the progressive idea there's such a thing as hate speech. One of the things that Matt Walsh is pointing out is that Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of the United States of America, last night threatened to prosecute an Office Depot because the employees in the Office Depot did not wish to print flyers for a memorial for Charlie Kirk on a college campus. Now, I disagree with the Office Depot employees, and I suspect they've gotten an earful by now from their national headquarters. But it's not the business of the Attorney General of the United States or the Department of Justice to tell a small business or any business who it can and can't do business with, except on the issue of race in America, due to the amendments to the Constitution and the Civil War. Pam Bondi has no business prosecuting an Office Depot because they said they didn't want to print a flyer. What if someone came in with pornography and wanted flyers printed with pornographic material and they said no? Would Pam Bondi go after them? No, that's solely about she's on Charlie Kirk's side. The employees didn't want to print flyers for a Charlie Kirk memorial, so she's going to target them. That's unconstitutional by the Attorney General. And here's the point. Gordon Chang, one of the foremost authorities on China in the United States, pointed out today, we have real issues in this country, including with the incursion of the Chinese into the United States. And the Attorney General of the United States would rather waste her time prosecuting people in unconstitutional prosecutions than deal with the Chinese, who have so embedded themselves within our telecom infrastructure that our government has given up trying to figure out how to get them out. So our government is embracing something called a zero trust protocol. The idea is that you presume that the hackers are already in the system. And so you maintain hardware device management. If you can't trust anything, you make sure that the hardware on either side of the connection is your hardware, to minimize breaches. The Chinese are so into our telecom system, the rumor is the government is finding alternate communication means for the government and military because the Chinese can otherwise find out our plans as they're being communicated over the telephone. In fact, according to the FBI, the CIA, the National Security Agency, and more, the Chinese have had access to all of our phone calls, yours too, and mine, for the last several years. That's how extensive the hacking is in our telecom infrastructure. The Chinese have basically been able to listen to every telephone call we've had, particularly over landline phones, but also over a lot of cell phones, because of the lack of security and the depth of the breach of our data from China. And Pam Bondi's more interested in Office Depot. That gets me to TikTok. Yesterday came news from Scott Bessent that the president was negotiating with the Chinese leadership about selling TikTok and that we would be able to divest TikTok from China. However, today comes word from the Chinese government that if they do divest TikTok to the United States, the Chinese algorithm must remain. This is from the Financial Times. Security hawks have raised fears the recommendation code could be manipulated to push propaganda. Beijing has said any American spinoff of TikTok must keep the algorithm. This is from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. and Chinese negotiators reached a framework deal on TikTok after 2 days of trade talks. Beijing has previously shown little appetite for a deal on the popular app, but likely conceded to an argument to keep it alive. Its ambitions for President Trump's visit to China. The deal will be confirmed by Trump and Xi Jinping after a call on Friday. The outline of the agreement came together as China escalated its regulatory campaign against NVIDIA. The Chinese regulator's action, according to people with the matter, was taken to provide Xi with political cover for the TikTok deal so he wouldn't appear weak to his domestic audience. A main question is whether Chinese negotiators agreed to let ByteDance part with TikTok's powerful recommendation algorithm as part of the deal. Beijing has placed this technology on its export control list and until recently had stood firm on that. Scott Bessent, who led the U.S. delegation, told reporters that a framework for switching ownership of TikTok has been reached. We're not going to talk about the commercial terms of the deal. It's between two private parties. The countries were running up against a Wednesday deadline to do a TikTok deal that had been extended multiple times. The Wall Street Journal won't say. The Financial Times says Beijing, in the sales agreement, has insisted that it still control the algorithm. I need all of you to put your, thinking cap on. Please. I need you to think as dispassionately as you can. Take the president, take Donald Trump out of the equation. Some of you get very, very, very defensive of the president. Some of you had great hostility to the president. I need everybody to step back dispassionately if you can. If you're capable of being a normal American who can think objectively and dispassionately about things, step into that space. Why is the United States government having to negotiate with the Chinese government over control of an app that is owned by an independent corporation? They tell us ByteDance is essentially a private corporation. Why is the Treasury Secretary negotiating with the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party if ByteDance is an independent entity? Why is the negotiation not with ByteDance? Why is the Chinese government insisting with any sale that the Chinese will still control the algorithm? If ByteDance is an independent company, how is it that the Chinese government, which includes the Chinese military, is involved in the control and oversight of the algorithm? And should we not be concerned as a people about an app in which people like Tyler Robinson, the assassination of Charlie Kirk, used and wanted to get, according to his neighbors, TikTok famous, Should we not be concerned when the Chinese government feels the need to oversee negotiations of the sale of the app and the preservation of its control of the algorithm of that app? Should we not be concerned by this? Take the president out of the situation. This is like a big red flag. It should be to all of you that the Chinese, for the longest time, refused the sale of the company, and now they're saying, well, we will sell the company, but it's still going to be required to use the algorithm that we control in China. What we know is that the Chinese have used the app to spy on Americans. Listen to me. There are a lot of you right now saying you don't care. You get pleasure from the app. You enjoy the app. I just told you the Chinese have been listening to all of your phone calls. You don't care. You don't have anything incriminating. Okay, that's fine. You don't care. Do you give out your bank account? Have you mentioned your Social Security number over the phone? Have you had to give a credit card number over the phone? The Chinese have that now. You don't care that TikTok is under the control of the Chinese government. It's not. You get pleasure out of the app. Upstairs, your kid is also on TikTok and is learning that transgenderism is a normal thing because that's what's in the algorithm for the teenagers. You're downstairs laughing at the cat videos. Your kid's upstairs learning how to be an anti-Semite. You don't even realize it's happening in your own house because the algorithm for your kid is indoctrinating your kid to hate the United States. You don't see it on your phone, so you're like, I don't care. It's not my problem. And then 4 years from now, you're sitting at the local Waffle House or local diner complaining to your friends that somehow your kid became this rabid progressive. You never saw it coming. You sent your kid to church. You sent your kid to a God-fearing college or to no college at all. How did my kid become a progressive who thinks transgenderism is normal and the Jews are bad? Well, you let your kid play on TikTok, and the Chinese have been feeding him this algorithm that they insist on still controlling. I can't tell you the number of parents I know who are stunned when their good kid suddenly becomes a rabid progressive. And, well, how often was your kid on the computer? All the time on the computer, playing video games with friends. Right. The Chinese are indoctrinating your kids in their bedrooms, on their phones, with TikTok. And you're like, I'm not giving up my cat videos. You can't make me turn off TikTok. I want my cat videos. The Chinese want you to have your cat videos too, while your kid is upstairs being served up a plethora of indoctrinating videos on transgenderism, the Palestinian cause, anti-Semitism, and why the United States is bad. But it's cat videos. For you, it is. Not for your kid. Not for your neighbor's kid. It's a damning indictment on TikTok that the United States government is having to negotiate with the government of China over this, and the Chinese government insists it will maintain control over the algorithm that not only spies on Americans, but shapes the mind of our youth and poisons the mind of our youth. You just want to be entertained. Get on Instagram. I mean, Instagram is run by an American company for Americans, a company that doesn't do business in mainland China because the owner of the company's wife, her family are refugees from Chinese communism, and they know enough to not dabble in the Chinese affairs. Instead, you've chosen the app that is controlled by the Chinese government. You're like, I'm just watching aviation videos and cat videos and cooking videos on TikTok. Great cooking videos. They're not indoctrinating me. No, they're not. They're distracting you so that you don't ask what your kid is looking at on TikTok. And when your kid becomes a full-blown commie, by then it'll be too late. That's what they want, and that's why we should shut down TikTok yesterday. So I've always liked Jamie Lee Curtis, the actress. One of my favorite movies is True Lies, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie where she plays his wife. And I was encouraged to hear this on Mark Maron's podcast, asking her if she's recorded last Friday about Charlie Kirk. She's got a son who transitioned, has been a big defender of transgenderism, very, very, very progressive. And she started crying, talking about Charlie Kirk. And she says, this is the direct quote, "I disagreed with him on almost every point I ever heard him say, but I believe he was a man of faith, and I hope in that moment when he died that he felt connected with his faith, even though I find his ideas were abhorrent to me. I still believe he's a father and a husband and a man of faith, and I hope whatever connection to God means that he felt it." Then she went on to say, "I know there's a video of his assassination. I know people who've seen it. Yesterday we watched, again, these images of the buildings coming down. Today we're, as a society, bombarded with images, so we don't know what the longitudinal effects of seeing these towers come down over and over and over again or watching his execution over and over again. We're inured to them. We're numb to them, but they're in there. We don't know enough psychologically about what that does. What does that do? That kind of, I don't ever want to see that footage of a man being shot." And she said, even though she disagreed with him about everything, no one should be killed for their political views. Thank you for having decency and common sense there. I just got to reiterate to you that a lot of people understand that porn is desensitizing and that it's harmful. Watching videos of people getting killed is the same thing. It desensitizes you to death. And I do not think it's healthy for people to watch these videos that keep circulating. I really don't. Instead, go to Hillsdale College and watch a course, videos of a great course, and improve your mind. Get your mind on something useful. Eric at ericforhillsdale.com is the website, ericforhillsdale.com. You go to ericforhillsdale.com. Hillsdale College has 40 different courses you can choose from. And you pick the class you want. Every class, the episodes are about 30 minutes long, and it depends on the class how many episodes there are. Some are 10, some are 12. There's one that's, I think, 14 episodes, but they're all 30 minutes each. They're done with some of the best faculty at Hillsdale College. They're highly informative, highly engaging. You're not going to go bored with these. Many of you listen to books on tape. Think about one of these free classes from Hillsdale College, whether it's chemistry or economics or math or political science or philosophy or history or literature or theology. You go to ericforhillsdale.com, ERICK, ericforhillsdale.com. Sign up with Hillsdale College. Find one of these classes that sparks your interest. I recommend the one on the Federalist Papers or the one on capitalism. Sign up, take them at no charge to you. ericforhillsdale.com. Hello there, welcome. It is Eric Erickson across the United States. The phone number is 877-973-7425. This is the President of the United States of America. He was in the Oval Office talking about, what he's going to do in Memphis.
With all that's going on with Charlie Kirk's assassination and the left-wing violence going on, do you have plans, and actually this is a great opportunity with all these, do you plan on designating Antifa finally a domestic terror organization?
Well, it's something I would do, yeah. If I have support from the people back here, I think we'd start with Pam, I think. But I would, if you give me, I would do that 100%, and others also, by the way. But Antifa is terrible.
I played the wrong clip, pushed the other one, and that one came up. But this is related to the Memphis thing.
Today, at the request of Governor Bill Lee of Tennessee, who's standing with us, as you know, I'm signing a presidential memorandum to establish the Memphis Safe Task Force. And it's very important because of the crime that's going on, not only in Memphis, in many cities, and we're going to take care of all of them. Step by step, just like we did in D.C. We have virtually no crime in D.C. right now. And we're going to keep it that way. It's our nation's capital. We're going to keep it that way, or we're going to federalize it if we had to, but we don't have to anymore because it's in such great shape. This task force will be a replica of our extraordinarily successful efforts here. And you'll see it's a lot of the same thing, although the numbers here are really something. They're really bad. Now, we did send FBI in about 4 months ago to work, and it brought some of the numbers down, and they did a great job, but we're sending in the big force now.
You know what? I want to get back to this in a minute. There's some breaking news happening, though. This is coming from Kash Patel, the director of the FBI. I have the audio here. We'll get back to the president's comments on Memphis and Antifa here in a moment. But this is from the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, to Josh Hawley, the senator from Missouri. Let me reroute my audio here so we can get this. Happened in the United States Senate. Bear with me, folks. I'm rapidly
getting a broader network of groups that may have had some knowledge of the shooter's plans. Can you give us any details on that, following up what you already said in public? How's the FBI working to find other potential accomplices, folks who may have known about the shooter's plans, folks who may have encouraged him? Any update on any of that?
So in terms of what we do for an interrogation perspective, we go and reach out to the family and community immediately. And we've conducted those investigations and interrogations with local law enforcement. And we're continuing to do that because those closest to the suspect are going to hopefully know the most about the suspect and his beliefs and his ideology. On top of that, unfortunately, it has been leaked that there was a Discord chat. And for those unfamiliar with it, it's a gaming chat room online that the suspect participated in. So what we're doing, we've already done, is serve legal process, not just on Discord, so that the information we gathered is sustained and held in a evidentiary posture that we could use in prosecution should it be decided to do so. And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Okay, very good. I see the public reports that the Discord thread had as many as 20 additional users. It sounds like you're trying to run down all of that to see if that's accurate, who else may have been on that thread, what they may have known. Is that fair to say?
It's a lot more than that, and we're running them all down.
It's a lot more than 20?
Yes, sir.
Wow, more than 20 people. Now, here's what we know, and you notice he says it unfortunately leaked. This Discord server, where if you're unfamiliar with it, so I'm up until they rolled over to their own thing. I had a account on Discord because I'm a member of a golfing group, and it's a nationwide thing. It's got several thousand members, and I had to get a Discord account to participate. They rolled it over to their own platform off Discord, but I'm a little bit familiar with it and have an account. But it's a lot of gamers use Discord when my son does this. He will watch someone play a video game. And it's entertainment for the kids these days to watch someone really good play this game. And then you can get into these Discord channels and you can have conversations. It's like instant messaging, but our large group chats, they're not secured, by the way. They're not end-to-end encrypted. And the shooter Robinson was in one of these group chats. The rumor is it involved transgender activists and that he confessed in the group. What the leak suggests and what Patel seems to be suggesting is that they had advanced knowledge, some of them at least, that he was planning this. And there are rumors and allegations that individuals might have helped Robinson think about how to assassinate Kirk. In fact, we know that there were accounts that appear to be tied to some of the people in this group chat that as early as September 3rd were saying that something bad was going to happen to Charlie Kirk on September 10th. And a number of those accounts deleted their accounts on September 10th, the day of the assassination. On top of that, we have the old guy. Remember, initially, people said, oh, they got the shooter. And there was an old guy who has been over and held down on the ground. It turns out this man, based on initial reporting, decided at the time that if he acted like he was the shooter and distracted the crowd and police, it would give the shooter time to get away. Can we just dwell on this for just a minute? Because this is the disturbing one to me. This guy, by the way, he will be charged as an accomplice. I don't know that I can even relate to the mindset. I don't know that I can relate to the mindset of any American who would, standing within 20 feet of another American, watch that American get assassinated, shot in the neck, and immediately conclude watching an American be murdered before their eyes, watching any human be murdered before their eyes, think, I got to do something here and now to help the killer get away. I don't even know how to relate to that. I mean, I'm at a loss for words. That's evil. That is evil. There's a level of depravity. This is an older man, white head, bald head, white hair, old man, who decides then and there, based on what we know. Now, they're going to look. Was there actually foreknowledge? They are going to look to see if there was foreknowledge. But based on the initial reports, it was his confession is that then and there, watching another American be assassinated, he thought, I got to help the assassin get away. Let me do something. I'll cause a distraction. There's a deep, 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 deep level of depravity, level of evil in someone who would do that. This is what we're dealing with. Just let me get my words together here. Live on the radio, talk show host. I can speak 3 hours a day, and this story just like drains my words. I want to address every American citizen. Hopefully you will stumble across this on your social media account if you're not listening to me live on the radio. And I want you to think about the elderly gentleman who saw his fellow American citizen, Charlie Kirk, assassinated 20 feet from him. And his first reaction was, I need to cause a distraction so the assassin can get away. When your first reaction is, I need to help the assassin, not the assassinated, that is pure evil. It's evil. And now I want you to think about all of the people on the left who have worked overtime to try to claim that the assassin was on the right or maybe had no political ideology, when actually the governor of Utah, the investigators, the family, the next door neighbors, they all say he was politically, ideologically aligned with the left. And now you have this guy who has been identified as a progressive, and his first thought was, after seeing Charlie Kirk assassinated feet from him, I need to help the assassin get away. We get lectured a lot about right-wing violence in this country. CNN last night. I'm a friend of Anderson Cooper's. I like him a lot. On his show last night, he did a segment on the president's words about left-wing violence. He says, well, actually, both sides do it, but this is right here and now. We have a progressive assassin and a man who was 20 feet from Charlie Kirk, who his first thought, seeing Charlie Kirk assassinated, was, I need to help the assassin. And now we have polling from YouGov that 25% of progressives in the country believe that violence is acceptable about political opponents, and we have more polling that shows young Americans, college-age Americans on the left believe violence is sometimes acceptable. You don't see those numbers on the right. Are there bad actors on the right? Yeah, I've had them show up at my house to threaten me and my family. I know they're bad actors on the right, but what I don't see in the American media is an honest conversation about the growing violence on the left. It's either about right-wing violence or both sides violence. It's never about left-wing violence. And we literally, think about this. Just please, all of you, for just one moment, exercise basic sympathy and compassion for a dead man. An American citizen is standing less than 20 feet from someone who was just shot in the neck. And that man's first reaction was, I need to be a distraction to help the shooter get away. There is something awful percolating on the left. There's something really horrifyingly awful percolating on the left that anyone would have that reaction. And that man had that reaction. And in his distraction, did it seem, buy time for the assassin to get away. And I'm gobsmacked that anybody could see another person gunned down in front of them. And their first reaction was, I need to help the killer, not the person being shot. And that's where we are, not with the majority of the left. And I'm not saying it's a majority, and the data doesn't show it's a majority. And I think most people were horrified by what happened. 25%, a quarter of self-described very progressive Americans, though, think it's acceptable. And by the way, an additional 6 to 7% said they don't want to answer the question. You know which way they're leading. So you got about a third of Americans who identify as very progressive, who think violence is the answer. And we are regularly hectored and lectured about right-wing violence by the press. Where's the standalone conversation about left-wing violence? If anything, that this elderly gentleman did this, if there are more than 20 people on a Discord server who may have had advanced knowledge and they kept their mouths shut, there should be a conversation. And you know and I know that conversation's not going to happen unless we force it. Well, we have some breaking news. George Zinn is the name of the 71-year-old man who stood 20 feet from Charlie Kirk, watched Kirk's assassination, and his first thought was, I need to cause a distraction so the assassin can escape. That in and of itself is real evil. You should understand that is evil when your first thought as an American is, I need to help a murderer escape rather than assist the murdered who you didn't know at the time was dead. That's real evil. TMZ is reporting George Zinn is now being charged with possession of child pornography, in addition to causing a distraction to help an assassin get away. He's got criminal charges now related to causing a distraction so the assassin can get away, and child pornography charges. George Zinn is an evil person. There's your real evil in the world, is this bystander who decided, I need to help a murderer on the spot at the time, spontaneously. His gut reaction was help the murderer. And also being charged, according to TMZ, with child pornography. Yep, evil. You know, times like this are clarifying because there are a lot of people who evil's this muddy concept, and it's not really. You occasionally run into real faces of evil, and this is a face of evil in the world. And I just, again, the fact that his first thought was help the assassin, not help the wounded victim, tells you everything you need to know about him, and add child pornography into it. And yeah, you're facing near quasi demonic, if not demonic, just true evil in the world. Now, look, when we come back, we got to shift gears into other news because today is September 16th, 2025. I say that because we have less than 30 days until the government of the United States of America shuts down unless a continuing resolution happens. Democrats have announced their opposition to the continuing resolution. I want to talk to my conservative friends in the United States House of Representatives who have the opportunity to do the most fabulous, funny thing on planet Earth and own the Democrats. If they'll just be team players, I want to talk to you about it when we come back because it really is that important. And also, we'll get back to the situation in New York City where you literally have people dressed up as the Nintendo character Luigi championing Luigi Mangione, who gunned down Brian Thompson, the CEO of the healthcare company. And very shortly, Tyler Robinson will make his first appearance in state court in Utah to face the charges against him. If that happens while we're on air, I will try to bring that to you live. Robinson being arraigned today in a state court, because it's a state court, not a federal court, it will be televised. And we'll bring that to you if we can. Right now, I need to tell you about Swiss America because they've been warning people about a secret war on cash and how to protect your hard-earned assets. The government trying to steer you to using credit cards and debit cards instead of cash. Why? Because cash purchases tend to be anonymous, and they're trying to shut you down on that. It even extends into digital currency. Swiss America wants to help you protect your hard-earned assets now. They've been the nation's trusted leader in precious metals for over 40 years. They've got to report the secret war on cash. You can get your copy free by calling or texting my name, Eric, E-R-I-C-K, to 800-289-2646. Again, 800-289-2646. Get the report. It's completely free from Swiss America. The Secret War on Cash takes less than 15 minutes to read. Just text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Follow the link that they'll text back to you, or call them and tell them Eric Erickson sent you. They'll get your information. They'll send you the report for free. You can also go to SwissAmerica.com/Eric. That's SwissAmerica.com/ERICK, or call or text my name, Eric, to 800-289-2646. Message and data rates may apply.